Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. Rising above. Is this thing on? Yes, it is. It's on. It's on. I'm here. Hello, hello. Angry Lion. Hello. Is that Blaine? Hello. Ryan. Hello. Yeah. Thank you guys for joining. Okay. So tonight, I'm literally just going to be just going to be like a Q&A. I'm going to stay on for about half an hour. I'm just going to kind of chat, do a market recap. What happened this last week, what's going on. So we're literally just going to, this is just pretty much, I do this periodically, but this is just going to be my day to kind of just interact with you guys, see what you guys are, your concerns are. If I can be of service to you, I'll, give you my opinion on it. So I'm just going to kind of talk and see where tonight goes. So the floor is open. If you have any questions, put it in the chat, and I will do my best to give you my thoughts. Let's see, crypto winter or or rocket ships. um, but my biggest thing with the market is I try not to just isolate my thoughts and just say, oh, okay, well, this is going to be a rocket ship or just even the spiral to hell or something like that. I try and look at everything from a macro perspective and use that to make my micro decisions. The macros overall are not good. This is bigger than Dogecoin. This is bigger than the market itself. We're talking about economy-wise, everything. The macros are not good, and there is going to be a domino effect. I can't say necessarily it's going to be a crypto winter yet, but there's certainly room for us to have further consolidation, manipulation, and everything aside. There's certainly room for us to have consolidation. It's one of the reasons. I know I've gotten a lot of new followers lately. If you have looked at some of our previous videos, it's one of the reasons why I was saying make sure you leave room for the opportunity to actually buy the dip coming up, just outside the macros. Because I know it's popular to be like, oh, buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. But when the real dip comes, nobody has any money because they've spent all of it, buying the little dips. So when the big dip comes, it's like, oh my God, what the hell? I'm so deep in the red. So I try and prevent that from happening on the channel here, for at least those who watch my channel. So I do believe there's room for further consolidation. So I just think that I wouldn't necessarily call it a crypto winter, but we are overdue for a correction. We're coming off the shortest bear market in history, technically. So the macros aren't good. So there's certainly room for that breakdown. Let's see. One, thank you for the super chat. New subscriber, I appreciate the consistency. Been holding most of my Doge since 2018, but diversified with profits. Doge to $1 in 2022. It depends on like the catalyst and stuff, but the macros, again, they're not good. But I do believe even the prices that we're seeing now, they are artificially lower than what they should be. So even when I say, oh, we're going to have a breakdown, that's in addition to the crap that we're seeing with shorts and stuff like that. If you guys follow me like on Twitter or my posts and videos on here, you have a idea of what I'm talking about. I'll try not to take up too much time going over that now. But as far as the $1, if the manipulation and stuff that we're seeing, if we're able to get get those cryptos off of the exchanges, we know that Doge is the most held crypto, and with the proper like utility and stuff like that being put in place with the catalyst, I think we can get close, if not hit it. But it really just depends on the macro events. But and they are not good. So there's certainly a chance, but we just kind of have to keep the bigger picture in mind and not just isolate to Dogecoin. But we get some utility on Twitter and are able to obliterate these shorts. Plus, we have the really big catalyst, which can openly just be a big promotion for Doge, which is obviously the Doge one. You guys know I'm not big for hype, but it's certainly a great marketing strategy that can certainly open the door for some higher prices. But for $1, I'm really not sure right now. The macros are kind of like all over the place, and we're going to need some more information as far as for what we're going to be like with inflation and get these numbers once we're like 60 days off of QE. like a lot of those big changing points that we're dealing with are going to be coming up here in the next 30, 45 days. We've seen the economy shrink, like was it like 1.4%? We're seeing the slanted import export, as far as we're causing the shrink, where our imports are pretty much the same or increasing, exports declining. So it's a lot. The macros are not aligning. So when we see that's a threat for liquidation or a vacuum on the market. So it's really hard to say we're going to get to $1 this year, but again, with the right utility and catalyst, it's certainly not out of the realm of possibility. It's just not looking good for it. So hope that answers your question. Are we super? No. When there is even the opportunity to buy a lot of these assets, that especially the ones that are going to survive or be on the other side of an event, it's an opportunity to get great prices. It's kind of like people that bought Bitcoin at really low prices, Amazon, Apple. If you get the right price going forward, it doesn't even matter what you're not even like the way most people watch charts right now is specifically because of their entries, right? Most of my Dogecoin is purchased at around like 5 cents. I even got some at 2 cents. So when I watch charts, it's more so just for information to either increase my coin count or simply just to relay information to you guys. But as far as for the actual swings, it doesn't bother me because my entries are so low. That's going to be a lot of you guys on the next cycle. You're not going to be like chart watching the way you are now. So it's not a matter of being like super F. It just, I guess, if you're short term or if you need the money, within like relatively soon, then you could be in a situation. But if you're a long term investor, or if you are holding and you're not over leveraged, you're great. Especially if you're in Dogecoin. I'm not sure what your entire portfolio looks like, but I believe Dogecoin is going to come out on the other side of this. So I don't think that anyone's screwed. It just more so depends on your leverage and timing that you need to cycle your assets. So I don't think we're screwed, no. Let's see, did shorts cover their position? Not necessarily covering, but they are, they're pretty much jumping in and out. That's typically what we see here with the shorts, because we had over 100% increase the other day, and they pretty much just came back, and they've been pretty much removed all of them. Not all at once, but you can see here. So now the shorts are down, 2.12% today. So we had the big green candle with the shorts. Really long wick here, and they pretty much came back and got the rest of them. This is pretty much today. So I won't say this. So obviously we don't have zero shorts, but they typically come in to get like that momentum in the other direction, kind of stir the pot a little bit, and then they head out. So they are not necessarily staying in long, but we'll see here that they were able to successfully get Dogecoin to break trend, because technically speaking, if we were looking at Dogecoin, we're establishing the trend. We're pretty much trending along with our 21-day, 72-day moving average and building a lot of support here. And we see that this was shorts that got Dogecoin to break below the 21-day moving average, break below the 72-day moving average. And as I just showed you, the shorts are kind of backed off. They kind of consolidate their positions. And what do we have immediately as soon as shorts are gone? A green candle. So, this is technically where, this is just to kind of like attest to the manipulation that's going on in Dogecoin, because it's not necessarily the community that's just selling or like a negative catalyst. This is more so kind of shorts creating the narrative. So, just kind of keep that in mind. But to cover their position, I'll say they're kind of back to like their neutral point. We'll never have necessarily zero. We'll never have zero shorts, but it's kind of back to like its equilibrium. Let's see, are you expecting new low before bounce or bounce and new high? I wouldn't necessarily say new low, but there is the window open for us to go down to about like that 10-cent range. And as far as how low we go, that obviously depends on the community and the buying pressure, because I know that the shorts that do have positions like around like 13 or so, if we do get that point, they're kind of going to double down on it, because they make more money the wider the spread is. So that can certainly be room to push it down. But because Dogecoin is so widely held, and I do believe that even the price that we're consolidated at now is not our true price, I think that they'll be hard pressed to get it really, really low, or even if it does, you'll kind of see like it'll kind of be like a flash crash just because of the volume. And I don't think that they're going to get into that kind of fight, because they can keep it, as of right now, they can keep it at around 13, 14 cents without much of a fight. But when you're shorting, the lower you push it, at some point you're going to have like that confrontation, and that confrontation is going to be retail buying pressure. And so you can short it within like a certain range where people are okay, they bought in at a lower price, they're okay with taking profits. But the lower it goes, the more attractive it's going to be. So where that sweet spot is going to be, I don't know, but I know it's going to be like within that range. Obviously, the charts say the bottom after like 12 cents, the actual next support level based off of the amount of the community that had entries is around 6 cents. Do I believe it can hit 6 cents? Maybe like in a flash crash, possibly, but I don't believe it will consolidate that low just because of the amount of buying pressure that would come in. So, and at that price, obviously we get a bounce up. But as far as for it going to like a new all-time high or something, I don't know. But I do believe that Dogecoin is not going to break trend and like go off to the moon outside of the macros of the market. But I believe that we can have that breakdown, and certainly that next bounce can come from that breakdown. And on the next cycle, and of course, as we get utility with things like Twitter, Doge One, and stuff like that, we'll be pretty much set for a new all-time high on the next cycle, the next bull run. Let's see. Is the Robinhood wallet safe from being used to short my holdings? I've been researching that, because I know that it's not necessarily saying that it's, because for me, I don't necessarily trust wallets that are on like those platforms. I know that you can have some on there like for like convenience, or if you are, trading or something like that, it's okay. But for me personally, this is my opinion. I think the best place to have your crypto, especially if you're long term, is going to be like in your pocket. Like get you like a Nano or something like that, and get your crypto off of the exchanges altogether. If you guys follow me on Twitter, you guys know I've been really, really going in on what shorting is, how brokers leverage shorts and stuff like that. I've been really breaking it down there so you guys can have a better understanding. But I don't believe that having crypto on a platform is not going to be used to their benefit, right? Because if you have, depending on what type of account you have in the stock market, you can turn off like share lending. To my knowledge, there's no way to do that in crypto. Crypto has much, much less regulation than the stock market. So to my understanding, there's no way to turn off lending in crypto. So if in my opinion, if they have access to it, then they're probably going to lend it to make money off of it. It's a legal way to double dip. So, I don't think that they will exempt themselves from it. So if they have access to it, if it's on their platform, I have no reason to believe that they won't do it. So, if you need some to just for liquidity purposes or speed, I say keep some on there. But if you can, I get most of my holdings and hold them privately, especially if you're long term. It just makes the most sense to me. To the moon, guys. Let's see. I would like to invest in Tesla for the long term, but I'm unsure of a good entry point. What's your opinion? Thanks. Well, I believe Tesla in general is going to do well long term. Like entry, like if you're ready to go now, you can look at some of the like the TA, because it really just depends on when you're looking at selling off. Because Tesla, I believe, is not going to. If I'm going to do a 1 year. Oh yeah, wow. So yeah, even these prices now, was it like 860? These are not bad prices. And I know we have like the sell off and stuff like that, and then the community, even if it's not there, even if there are great prices, there aren't necessarily going to be enough buying pressure to kind of catch these gap ups. So technically speaking, the next support or next bounce, this is weak as well, but it's around like 757. But as you can see, we had this gap up here, so it's not uncommon for that gap to get filled on the other side. So, but I'll say, in my opinion, Tesla's not a bad buy right now. It's actually below its 200-day moving average. The 200-day moving average on this chart is this red line here. So Tesla's below its 200-day moving average. So these aren't, in my opinion, these aren't bad entries. Elon said he wasn't going to sell anymore. So I don't believe that, there's going to be like mass panic and stuff like that to kind of drive the price down lower outside of like a macro event. But something like Tesla, if you're bullish on it long term, I don't see a reason to, panic about these prices or anything. A 200-day moving average below it, something that I'm bullish on for 5+ years. To me, that's golden. If I can catch Apple below its 200-day moving average, something I'm really bullish on, I pull the trigger on that. So, those are my 2 cents as far as for like entry on Tesla. So get the likes up. You're doing a good job, my brothers. Thank you. Yeah, I have no idea how many likes we got, but yeah, definitely like the video if you found value, and subscribe to the channel if you want to hear more from me. Where's the Doge one? It keeps getting moving around a lot. I've seen so many dates, but we'll get confirmation as it gets closer. I'm from Florida. I visited the Kennedy Space Center many times, hoping to see rocket launch, shuttle launches, and stuff like that. They can change those dates for like any reason. Like every time I went, it got canceled, or moved. So we just kind of have to wait until we get closer, but we'll get some concrete dates for sure. Because I know we have the dates around, and I know we also have like some YouTubers and influencers and stuff like that throw out these random days as well. So I know that kind of throws off the community, but I think that we'll have some concrete dates, and we'll actually see some like announcements and stuff like that from Elon himself. So I think it'll be, I just don't want to put any dates out there that may not be accurate, but I think we'll get some more concrete dates as it gets closer. I think the last one was like June 1st or something like that, but I'm not sure how valid that is. Oh, wow. I'm like way behind these comments. Let's see. Doge is here to stay, even prosper. You are only afraid if you see Doge for a short-term profit. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think, Doge is, long term. I think everybody should be, I don't think no one should, unless you're absolutely just trading. I don't think that you should be, because if you're not a trader and you're jumping in and you're hoping it went to the moon like within like 2 months or something like that, then you're speculating. So that explains why a lot of people would be upset. So just kind of have to know your strategy, because if you're not familiar with trends or cycles and charting and stuff like that, you probably shouldn't be investing short term anyway. So, but I agree, if you are long term, you shouldn't be upset right now. Is Doge rigged? Will we ever be able to make money off of it if it's controlled? I mean, most of the market is, I won't say controlled, but it's influenced. Doge right now is being influenced, right? Remember, like, I'm not sure how familiar you are with my channel, but one of the things I cover a lot is the fact that Doge is kind of like on the opposite side from like Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is kind of like the Coca-Cola of the crypto market. It's the face of the crypto market. Doge is, kind of like this coin that came out of left field, and it's kind of like this coin that really the institutions, a lot of the big wigs, they didn't expect, and it was the anomaly. And so we have that kind of momentum and the amount of people. Doge, we know, is the most held crypto, and now we have the the richest guy in the world campaigning for it and talking about pretty much incorporating it into one of the largest social media platforms in the world, giving it like vast utility and stuff like that. We're going to see things like massive shorts and these articles coming out, owned by hedge funds to try and influence the position or artificially suppress the price to give the illusion of like this slope and stuff like that. But it's manipulated, to say the least. But as we build utility and have this adoption, and certainly as we remove our coins from these exchanges, they're going to have less ammunition to manipulate it. Because right now, if all the Dogecoin that were on these exchanges were in our private wallets, Dogecoin would be at a much higher price right now than what we're seeing, because they wouldn't be able to lend the coins out for them to be shorted. If they wanted to short the positions, those institutions would have to go on the open market and actually buy Dogecoin to lend it, which obviously would be to at least the initial purchase would be to our benefit. And then of course they'll be lending their own coins, so they'll be at greater risk if um, if they over leverage themselves, because technically they would literally be over leveraging themselves compared to them getting money from us to over leverage. So this would remove for some of the control that we have in the market. And that's really what I've been talking about a lot on Twitter, which is pretty much ways that we can get control of Dogecoin and stop some of this manipulation. But manipulation happens in all assets, really. But Dogecoin is especially, just because I believe of what it represents. I believe Dogecoin is a threat to the status quo that they were building in the crypto market. And I think that that's one of the reasons why we see Dogecoin being the target of a lot of the BS that goes on in the market. Remember, Dogecoin is responsible for the expansion that we see in the crypto market. Like, most of people who are investing in crypto right now are in because of the Dogecoin and that boom we got last year. A lot of these coins, these knockout coins, the next Dogecoin and all these tokens, Dogecoin opened the gateway for that. So that's just how popular the coin actually is. So you're going to see they can't afford for Dogecoin to have that kind of momentum for the second time, because now it'll erase all question of, is the coin dead or was it all hype? Like, they can't risk that happening again. So this is why they're doing everything possible to kind of beat the hell out of it, to make it seem like, oh, okay, well, it's over, guys. You guys are like bag holding and stuff like that. Even though when we look at information, we can kind of see that, okay, well, obviously it's being manipulated and people aren't selling, because the second shorts go away, boom, green candles. So, it's really, this comes down to information and us getting utility so that we can control the coins, so that we can combat some of this manipulation. But not impossible. We've seen it done several times recently here in the market. And I believe Doge is going to make history again in the crypto market. I'll have more on that a little later, though. Let's see, David, do you think Elon will step in to push back against Binance? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've been covering that a lot on Twitter. If Elon steps in, that they're going to be forced to respond in a great way. Not those short answers that they've been somewhat giving on Twitter. They'll be forced to respond in long form. That'll be great if he does, but I know that I don't think he necessarily cares about getting sued. But that can, especially with someone his size and influence, that can it can be triggering for the company and whatnot. So it can be. I'm not saying he won't do it, but I can see if he didn't, I can understand why, or at least being counseled why he wouldn't say anything like that, because the consequences of that would be very great, because that would literally cause like a run on the books for Binance. So I'm not sure of all the legality things behind it, but I know for Binance that would be terrible, and they'll probably get their books flipped upside down. So it'd be great if he did, but I doubt. I would say at this point, I doubt he would say something like that, at least directly. But who knows? Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry, just refreshing my feed here. You guys have a lot of questions tonight. This is good. This is why I came on. So utility. Yeah, absolutely. As long as Elon is alive, Doge will survive. Absolutely. Do you think Elon Musk could just buy Dogecoin and help move it up? I don't necessarily think that it's more so about him buying of the coin, because technically if he just held it up, I mean, I guess he could make a substantial investment or just say he's going to make one, and that would certainly move it. But long term wise, the value of Doge is going to come from utility. It doesn't even have to be Elon. Just if anyone, any billionaire, just put a lot of money into Dogecoin, outside of this, the value is going to come from actually it being used versus holding. It doesn't have scarcity value like a Bitcoin or something like that. This has to be like attached to assets and remain fluid, kind of like what the dollar does. So it will certainly help it in the short term, yeah. But long term, I don't know what he would necessarily gain from that. Let's see. So just got here, going to rewind. Wow, thanks for the good info. Yeah, no problem, no problem. So does this mean Dogecoin will go up? Yeah, no, we haven't seen the best of Dogecoin. You can believe that. We have not seen the best of Dogecoin. See, Mark Cuban and Elon Musk should join forces. I think we're going to see something. I've been watching some of their conversations, at least the ones publicly on Twitter. I think that's not as far fetched as it may seem. Saying they should join forces. There's probably already something in the works. Let's see. Do you see the next bull market for crypto be around the same time the stock market recovers? That's very possible because the macros here, and I've seen that because of the amount of money that was pumped into the crypto market, I can certainly see them being more intertwined than they have been historically. Um, Especially with what's going on in the stock market, they may even run into crypto to try and generate some money to cover some of those positions that they have in the crypto market. Um, we got to keep in mind that the crypto market peaked at around $3.3 trillion. It took 12 years to hit 1 trillion, 18 months to hit 2 trillion. I think like 7 months to hit 3. During that hype, certainly, whenever there's an influx of retail or new money in the market, we know that the hedge funds, the experienced investors, they're also going to come in pretty heavily. But we can't think within reason that 3.3 trillion was retail money, right? So we know where the majority of that money came from. So, if the stock market goes down, crypto is still technically seen as a riskier asset than the than the stock market. So if they are crunched or if there's liquidation, we have shrinking GDP and stuff like that, and they need to move money around, we can certainly see the effects in crypto. They'll run into possibly a Bitcoin, but they'll typically go from, okay, we need to make a lot of money to we need to try and keep the money we already have versus gain. So that's just something to kind of keep in mind. But yeah, I think that it's certainly possible that the markets are more intertwined than they have been before. See, OJ's White Bronco. Thanks for the super chat. Let's see. Monetize Twitter with Doge smart contracts. Yeah. That's one of the conversations I looked at last night that Mark Cuban was talking about, and I saw Billy on there, and Elon chimed in as well about integrating it, about a way to integrate it with Twitter as far as the verification and stuff like that. So, I think that's great, especially the idea that came out last night. But I strongly believe that, especially if everything goes smoothly with the Twitter acquisition, I think that we're going to have multiple ways to use Dogecoin on there. So I think, and with the amount of people on Twitter and just the access around the world, I think this is going to be really, really bullish for Dogecoin. So we're going to have multiple ways to use it on the platform. So I know, smart contracts are certainly not out of the way, because we've already seen the willingness of Ethereum as well to work with us. So it's certainly within the realm of possibility. 80% of the population still don't understand crypto or have ever invested in their lives. Absolutely. We are in the infancy stages of crypto. Like literally, like we haven't even scratched the surface of it. The stock market was worth roughly, I think, like $100 trillion. We peaked at $3.3 trillion. So our best in the crypto market so far was roughly about 3% of what the stock market is. And this is one of the things that I wrote on Twitter a while ago, was because I know that a lot of the community is like, what's the price of Dogecoin going to be by the end of the year? What's the price of Dogecoin going to be in 6 months? No. Ask yourself, what's the price of Dogecoin is going to be when the market cap of crypto is $10 trillion, when it's $15 trillion, $20 trillion? What's the price of Dogecoin going to be in 5 years? Because we look at situations like this where it's like, you can look at like a Bitcoin situation and say, hey, look at this price here. And they're like, oh my God, if I had bought Bitcoin back here, I would have made $60,000 a coin, I got it for like nothing. The reality is most people would have sold long before it hit those numbers, because they wouldn't have held, because you would think that, okay, well, it's not going to go that high, or it's going to cycle, it's a lot of uncertainty there. So, there's a lot of people buying Dogecoin right now, 13 cents or so. It hits, 50 cents, 60 cents, or it gets close to around its all-time high. Oh my God, it's going to tank again. They sell off, and then we go on and set a new all-time high because, they're not able to tell, when the cycle is over or the next cycle up. And this is kind of what happens when you have like the market expanding. It's easier for these coins to hit these new all-time highs. And the people that are in right now, they have the ability to capitalize off of the cycle and off of the new money that comes into the market as the market expands. Because it's not just, oh, will we get back to $3.3 trillion? It's like, okay, what happens when crypto is more widely accepted? What happens when you start going to Walmart or Costco, and instead of Visa debit and stuff like that, you're also seeing an option to pay with crypto. At that point, ask yourself, what is the price of Dogecoin? So I think that this statement here with the 80% of the people, the mass adoption that's going to happen in crypto is going to make the cycles and stuff that we've seen so far look like nothing. Like that, we're going to blow past that 3.3 trillion all-time high we've seen as far as the market cap for crypto. We're going to set a record. We're going to break that again. And so these coins, especially the ones that survive this pending downtrend that we have, they're going to appreciate and capitalize and get pushed up off of that money. And people are investing in what? Especially as the market gets new, especially as the market expands and you get newer investors. Which of the cryptos are going to get the most capital? The new ones that just came out last week, they're saying that they're going to go to the moon, or the ones that have been here for a decade or so and have a record and a history and are far less likely to be a rug pull? That's what I think about. Those to the moon. Absolutely. Let's go. Let's see. If everyone starts sending and receiving those between friends and family, it will begin to move up. Yeah, I think that the goal is, even when it comes down to sending it or using it on Twitter and stuff like that, I think that once we buy Dogecoin, if we're able to actually keep it away from exchanges and just actually use it amongst each other, like between our wallets, the more we're able to do that, the better off we're going to be. I think that's going to be a lot easier. Let's see. When I bought into the whole narrative was we are going to $2, so I bought in and was going to get the money and get back out. Didn't happen that way, and now I'm forced to hold till $1. I mean, the narrative, because you have to, and one of the things I like doing on my channel here is painting both sides of the coin, and I don't, depending on where you get the vast majority of information or where you like to. No, really, just what you like to believe. You're going to have the people or the influencers who are, just to the moon and, break out this week and all this kind of stuff like that. And I get it, that, it's more exciting. It certainly gets more clicks, but it's not the reality of how the cycles work. You have uptrends, you have downtrends, you have the unknown unknowns, which is, I think where we kind of peaked at, here in the market was we had these big transitions in the market where we had the highest amount of retailers enter the market in history. And that created a lot of unknown unknowns. And when you have a bunch of, basically new investors or amateurs in the market, it doesn't take much to cause FOMO or panic and, have these massive sell-offs and these wild swings. Like, volatility just comes out of nowhere at that point. And so I think that, it causes these swings in the market. So even if the numbers were suggesting something that high, they kind of, they can change rapidly. And overall, when you invest, that's one of the reasons why I like to point out my channel as far as for saying, like, your long term, let your short term money be your short term, where most of your portfolio you should be, long term, because it allows you to be able to ignore a lot of this short term noise in the market, so that you don't get caught in a position like that. To my knowledge, this was before Elon went on SNL. I was talking about the correction in the market, the 50 to 80%. That cycle wise, that typically happens. And I think that there wasn't enough information out on that correction or the volatility of crypto. It was just all pump, pump, pump to the moon, to the moon. And that misled a lot of people. So they were pretty much buying. I don't know what your DCA is, but they're pretty much buying just because it was supposed to continuously go up. And that's not how it works. A lot of times people got caught. And that's why it was, I started making like my DCA videos and, just to kind of combat like those higher prices. But when you are, saying you're forced, there's ways to, so that I don't know how much capital or where you are with your DCA, but there's ways to get out if you are not wanting to hold. DCA is obviously one of them. I'm not sure if you want to hold or if you're just kind of fed up with the coin. You feel like you're stuck, but the narrative can always change, right? So the narrative is temperamental, and you just have to be kind of like selective with where you get your information from, and always look at both sides of the coin, because Dogecoin, even on the next cycle, the next bull run, I guarantee you those to the moon videos and stuff are coming back, because it's exciting and that's what gets attention. So this kind of, I know a lot of people learned on this cycle, but you have to, just kind of make sure you're doing your due diligence and not just basing it based off of hype or the narrative, because that's one thing that concerns me about that post when you said the narrative, because the narrative can be misleading, especially depending on who you're getting it from. But Doge, we haven't seen the best of Doge, and our current all-time high is certainly not the best. So not necessarily depending on where you got in, but no matter where you got in, those numbers will be hit again. It just comes down to how are you over leveraged and how soon you need the money. But again, you just kind of just be careful with the narratives and stuff going forward. So what do you think about the Mark Cuban recent comment on Doge and using it on Twitter to stop bots? No, I like it a lot. I agree with it. I think it's actually a pretty great idea. I actually made a comment on his post. It might have been on his post or Elon's post on Twitter. But if you go to my page on Twitter, you'll be able to see like my response to that thread. See, when will the shorts be over? Shorts are never over. We can decrease them or take control of the asset, but nothing is never really like 0% shorted. There's always somebody or some institution that's betting against it. It's never really zero. Let's see. All those moon boys said hold and buy the dip, and now they all buying Lambos and Bugattis. Yeah, you gonna say you gotta be careful with the where you get your information from. You really gotta be careful because it can be really being misleading. People have their own agendas with where they're putting the content out. And again, I know it's really common to be like to the moon, all that kind of stuff like that, but that is not how these cycles work. That's not how money works. So, just kind of be careful, trust but verify. That's my whole thing. Even when it comes to me, I know some of you are my subscribers. So, don't take everything I say as like law, go verify it for yourself to make the best decision for you and your family. Let's see. I think investing with these dips just made me think more long term. Am I hurting now with my portfolio? Yes, but in 5 years, I could see myself being up insanely high. So I'm not sweating it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, entries and patience. Most of the money, I put this on Twitter the other day. Most of the money that's made in the stock market is simply money being transferred from those impatient people. Like Warren Buffett has a quote or something like that. But most of the money that you make in the stock market and the crypto market is pretty much impatient people losing money, because the money comes from assets. It's literally just a giant exchange. So the more patient you are, the more, being patient, being in the right position, the more likely you are to turn a profit. I say, Eric, do you know about the pyramid scheme and Amway products? I think crypto to be similar. Amway, you talking about the network marketing company? I don't think necessarily crypto is built the same way that Amway is. It's just, everything has an exchange. It has to be like regulated and stuff like that. I just think that crypto can use more regulation, but I don't think it's built the same way that that Amway is. The crypto just needs more so regulation. Otherwise, we've seen how hedge funds and institutions abuse the stock market with regulation. So you can only imagine what they're going to do and manipulation they're going to bring to the crypto market if we don't get some strong regulation in there. I just don't think that it should be regulated to the point where it's not as fluid as it is now. But as far as for who can do what and the brokers and stuff like that and all this, I'm not going to speak on the manipulation too much on here, but until I get more information. But all the manipulation that we're seeing here with shorts and stuff like that, we could certainly use some more of that. And I think that we will see a decline in the manipulation that we are seeing. But I wouldn't compare it to Amway or any network marketing company, if that's the company that you're speaking of. This is a stretch, but hear me out. AMC just bought 22% stake in Hycroft Mining, monetizes their media and backs their media currency in their stakes of PM. Boom, AMC backs Doge with metal. Oh, that'd be great, especially if we do end up having that breakdown and going into like a recession, being backed by precious metals and it kind of being like a hedge, because historically it is. That'd be really, really great for Dogecoin. Absolutely. Let's see, how do you know all of this? Research. I'm not sure if you're talking to me or someone in the chat, but no, I research. What's this? Never learned this in school. I do a lot of research and I read a lot, and it's not just to sometimes I kind of touch up on things to kind of like make sure I can present it in a way to you guys, but most of what I know and what I do, I would do regardless if I had a YouTube channel. I was doing before I had a YouTube channel. So, you can look before, you can go back and look at some of my old videos, like before Dogecoin and stuff like that. I was making videos on stocks and like real estate and all that kind of stuff. It's genuinely what I'm interested in. It's, what I've studied and what I've read. It's what I do in my spare time. I like looking at companies and stuff like that. So, I just like to share the findings of my research, with you guys, and especially now that since I have a following. So, you guys can learn from my mistakes, take my information, my thoughts, and, tweak them to your situation and hopefully be able to capitalize. But yeah, they don't teach a lot of stuff in school that they should. That's for one thing. I've yet to use y equals mx plus b or calculate the radius of a cylinder and all that kind of crap. But whatever. Let's see. People can't afford to buy Dogecoin anymore. You can take online survey, then use the survey money to buy more Dogecoin. You can also earn free Dogecoin faucets. People can't afford to buy Dogecoin anymore. I don't know if you meant to type that or if that's like a typo or what, but are you saying that because it's free, they shouldn't buy it, or because there's other ways? I'm not sure if I understand your question, because Dogecoin at this price point is certainly not out of reach for most people. Let's see, David. I think still that Dogecoin should make people hold for 6 months unless they use it for a transaction. It will stabilize the coin and bring value to Dogecoin. Dogecoin should start regulating. Well, I mean, you could have a hold point, because I know some cryptos kind of do like that stabilization thing, or they'll make you, if you do try to sell or liquidate, it'll have like a penalty and stuff like that. I know that, I think I heard this conversation before, either with you or with someone else, but for the purpose of Dogecoin, it's not, it just doesn't align with it. It's made to be more fluid than that, especially for like utility purposes. We can gain utility once we have not utility. We can gain stability once we have more utility and we get the controlling interest away from these brokerages. Because yes, Dogecoin would have ups and downs regardless, and Dogecoin would have these consolidation periods, especially like in bear markets, these cycle downs. All that's completely normal. But the degree of which we've seen it and the length of time that we consolidated at these levels, is I'll just say it's artificially influenced. It's manipulated. So we would have a higher degree of stability, but these swings are still going to be there. And for the current purpose of Dogecoin, those are necessary evils, to say the least. It's not, we can't, it's just not meant to have like that just everybody just buy and hold it and not use it type of thing, where it's like a scarcity value, like a Bitcoin or something like that. It's just not. It's meant to be much more fluid than that. So that's one of the reasons why I think it's not going to happen, just because it goes against its core purpose of what it was designed to do. That's David. Do you watch the Crypto Taurus YouTube channel? He survived crypto bear market in 2018. He's seen it before. He regrets selling Bitcoin in 2016 since he was a newbie in 2016 in crypto. No, I've never heard of him, but or never heard of that channel. But I'm sure he does regret selling. I mean, anybody that has Bitcoin before like 2 years ago and they sold it, I'm sure they do regret it. So, but yeah, that's one of the things. Patience. That's kind of like what we were talking about earlier. Having patience and being that long-term holder. As the market gets pushed up, you're going to see these cycles. Every time the market cycles, technically, especially the leaders and the ones that have their niches, they appreciate to all-time highs on each cycle. So it's certainly worth it to hold. Let's see. I read somewhere that Doge won even will be on June 1st at Kennedy Space Center. Yeah, I remember reading that too, but I just didn't. I'm just not 100% sure, so I just didn't want to say it on record. So you should do a video on how to use a cold wallet. That will help our community out a lot. Yeah, no, I am. I'm working on it, like as far as how to transfer, all that kind of stuff like that. I may even give away like some nanos. So I'm working on it. I'm actually writing out that a video like that to kind of cover it, because I think that's going to help out the community. The moon mission is coming. Absolutely, it's coming. It's coming. Hey DM, did you see my comment in a previous video about your mic volume? I did. I actually forgot to respond to you, because I was intending to play my video back to listen to it. Because actually, after I record videos or I edit them, I actually don't listen to them, because I hate hearing myself talk. But I was intent to play the video back to listen to that. How's it now? Just kind of let me know. The people's currency, absolutely. Doge is truly the currency of choice. Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I think that as the, literally is one of the most held cryptocurrencies and stuff like that. If the market is truly, free will and, pretty much people choosing as far as what coins to interact in, they should leave it alone and not have these massive shorts and attacks and stuff like that to kind of create the illusion that the coin is down. But I will say that typically, even in the stock market, Doge will be considered a penny stock, and typically you do see this kind of behavior when it comes to penny stocks. So it's not like abnormal. But I think that in crypto, just because we're not seeing this degree of shorts, I posted on Twitter the other day, shorts were up like 178%. It was something just crazy to get this downward momentum in crypto. I mean, in Dogecoin, and it still didn't even drop like over a penny. But it's just letting you know that how badly they wanted this coin to trend downward with the market. So we we just have to just remember that this is obviously our choice, and through utility and stuff like that, that's how we're going to win. Audio is good now, just sometimes your audio is low. Okay. I'll just be mindful of that. Maybe it was just me. Maybe I was speaking too low or something like that. So I'll try and keep that in mind. And that's typically why I ask, can everybody hear me okay before I start, especially on the live? So maybe it's on my pre-recorded videos that's an issue. Let's see. What happens to Doge when AMC increases? What about AMC buying a stake in the mining company? What happens to Doge? I don't think necessarily that AMC is going to cause a vacuum on Doge unless, for whatever reason, like some of those hedge funds are like heavily invested in the Doge, which I don't believe they are. I don't see it. I don't see specifically AMC causing a vacuum on Doge. The entire market crashing, yes, that can have a domino effect on Doge. I do believe that there is some institutional money in there for sure that will cause everyone to rebalance their portfolios. So I can certainly see that having a domino effect, but I don't think it will be specifically to AMC. And AMC buying a stake in the mining company, I think that's great. Again, we're threatening a breakdown in the market, so owning some hard assets like precious metals that can certainly be used for a hedge against any potential crazy inflation or breakdown in the market. That can certainly be used as a as a way to kind of like retain value in the next downturn. Let's see, why did you pick Doge as your YouTube channel with all your market and crypto knowledge? It's not necessarily me picking, because I do talk about other things, or I go over like markets and market psychology and stuff like that. But for the most part, because I have my investments and my portfolios that I do like a lot more than Doge. But my philosophy on this has always been, I respond to technically what people want me to talk about on YouTube, because I'm going to do when I say that if I'm doing something for someone else, then it has to benefit as far as how people respond to me and what people respond to me with. Otherwise, then I'm just giving out information that most people or a lot of people may not want to hear or may not be useful. And then at that point, who am I really doing it for? So that's been my whole thought. If people, if I got, or if my community was like, hey, could you expand, or could you talk about other stuff, or I would certainly be willing to do that, because again, I do a lot more than Doge. But as far as the response and what people are asking me for and the information and stuff like that, it's more so circled around Doge. So that's what I speak on. And again, I don't know if you were on the live at that point, but I was saying, if you go look at some of my other videos, I have like some of my real estate stuff and projects, like when I was buying Apple and a lot of these stocks that were like severely down and doing like the projections and stuff like that. So you can look at some of the older videos like I do. I still have like all of those shares and stuff like that. So it really just depends on what the what the audience wants. If I actually have an interest in it, then I don't mind speaking on it. Let's see. I'll take a couple more because I'm like way over the 30 minutes. I'll take a couple more and then I'll finish up. Let's see. I'm sorry, I've sold 95% of my holdings. I set limit buy orders below 10 cents. This market will go down for the next 4 weeks. Not impossible. Not impossible. Entry and exit points are the most important. That's one big thing I've learned. Facts. You got the right entry. Everything else, it does not even matter. The right entry point will certainly serve you well. Okay. So with that being said, like the video, share the video with a friend. If you found any value, please consider subscribing if you want to hear more from me. I'll post frequently throughout the week, and occasionally I do the Q&As where I just go through the comments and we just chat. So I'm already like way over anyway, but with that, I will wrap up for tonight, and I will see you guys tomorrow. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in with me, and have a good night.